There's my asshole father. I can't film while I'm driving, but when I get home, I feel like I'm gonna throw up. I don't even think I have words for this. I'm gonna need both hands for this. So cute, baby. Vacation's over and he's back. The very first thing that he asked is to drive him to go pick up his car. I had been warned by someone that he had purchased a Corvette, but I was thinking, and that's shocking enough, but I was thinking like a $30,000 Corvette, just something that he could tell people that he bought a Corvette. But I was not prepared for what I was about to see. I did not think that he actually bought a $100,000 car. If you have not been watching the vlog, I'm going to briefly explain to you what's going on. I'm currently living with my father because of a whole lot of things that led to this situation. Largely the fact that my mother died over the Christmas holidays. My father is a narcissist and abusive and destroyed my psyche over the course of my life. And I truly never wanted to see him again. I spent the last 2 years living in a van, which would be great if the majority of the time that van that I was in wasn't broken down. For 2 years, I lived in a broken down van. For 1 year, a broken Sprinter. And then I moved into a Dodge Caravan, a Grand Caravan, got rid of the Sprinter, and the Dodge Grand Caravan also needed repairs. One of the things that's most impactful about seeing this car is the fact that he bought it while everyone knew that he was also having an affair. Never mind the fact that I've been struggling to survive, and he has the balls to spend $100,000 on a fancy car as a nearing 70-year-old man. Never mind the fact that he has asked me absolutely nothing about myself. Nothing. Not even when he got back from vacation. Not even, how are you? Nothing. Not a single question about myself. And when he pulled out of the garage, he expected me to have some sort of a positive reaction to the fact that he was driving a Corvette. This is a faucet. I'm going to be installing this faucet because the current faucet is literally holding on with a zip tie that I put on while they were on vacation because this had seen its last day and had fallen off completely. The reason I'm the one going to be installing the sink is because if I don't, it will not get installed. He wouldn't have even bought a new faucet. So I asked him to buy a faucet. I showed him some very good prices on the internet, and he agreed to buy the faucet as long as I would install it. Why? Because he is the most lazy excuse for a man I have ever met in my entire life. Also, if you're wondering why I don't just say no, other than the fact that that means that I'll have to be using this broken faucet every day for the rest of my stay here, it's more so that I'm preparing the house to sell it when he inevitably kicks it. This is the couch. Remember I said it was in tatters? Yeah, that's what I meant. Not only is the couch in tatters, and the dishwasher been broken for a decade, and the faucet falling off. We can't use the shower upstairs because it's broken and leaks into the main floor. There is a million things in this house that need to be fixed. And instead of tending to his own house and taking care of it and fixing things in his own house, he goes and buys a $100,000 car. I have been rereading my book and making some changes to it that were very necessary. I thought this was going to take me a couple of days, but it turned into a couple of months. But again, it had to be done. I'm watching my cat, okay? Spot is right there, okay? One cat. Two cats. Who the heck is this? Who are you? Who are you? Are you my cat too? Are you new? Are you moving in with us? I think I'm in a parallel universe. Or like two dimensions combined. What is this? Why is this like this? I already started the dishes. I did half of them. He did his dishes, quote unquote. Mind you, half of these dishes are his. And this pot literally does not pick up after himself. He even left a cup on the coffee machine. Then there's this. The pièce de résistance, because it never ever changes. Okay, I'm starting to do the dishes. I just took these out of the sink and I realized that before I said maybe half or about half the dishes were his. This is what he does. These are all from his bedroom. He hoards dishes for weeks at a time, and then right before he leaves somewhere, he piles them all in the sink and lets me fucking do them. If you're unfamiliar with the vlog, I started out with 3 cats, and I had one of them pass at Christmas, and I just had to put down my little baby. When I told my father by text, because he was still overseas on vacation number 2, his response to that was to tell me to check the pH in his aquarium. That's how much he cares about my feelings. So if you're watching this and you don't understand why I'm claiming that this is abusive, it's emotional and psychological abuse. To be constantly treated like you don't matter, that you're nothing but an object. This is what's going on today. To the best of my abilities, I'm going to be organizing this and listing much of it for sale. You may notice that the faucet is still here. It has not been installed. It is the end of July. And the reason is because I decided to focus on myself. What kind of a man leaves a faucet like this for months and months and months, waiting for his daughter to install it? Hello. It is the night of my birthday. I intended originally to film something during the day, like to show what I did. I knew I wasn't going to do anything interesting, but then I just didn't film it. I didn't feel good. I was tired. I just didn't do it. So I'm filming now to let you know that I basically... Anyways, it's late and I'm going out for a drink with a friend, and I left quietly because I know he wouldn't have stopped me from leaving, but it's like a mental block where I don't feel comfortable letting him know that I'm doing anything fun for myself ever. You know, once you've been punished enough for it, and it's always passive aggressive stuff, you know, so he can deny it. He can just be like, I don't have a problem with you doing that. I don't have a problem with her doing that. I never stop her from doing that. But what he does instead is he'll just be extra passive aggressive and like leave a bigger mess and like do things to purposely piss me off and trigger me or hurt me. So I have just been trying to stay completely away from him. 2 people wished me a happy birthday today, and I'm not surprised. That might be one of them right now. One of my friends from Montreal, and oh, that is her. So I'll get back to you in a second. I'm gonna see what's in here that I can sell so that I can make enough money to escape. My mother died right after Christmas, right before New Year's. So my first cat died, and then a couple days later my mother died. And then about a week later we had the funeral. And then a month later my father left for Asia. A month earlier than he was supposed to. He was supposed to go with another family member who was going to visit close family, and so my father used that as an excuse, saying that he was basically going with them, but he left several weeks early to go on his own to Asia a month after his wife died. He was gone for about 6 weeks. When I first got here, when my mother died, I did not intend to stay here. I had absolutely no plans to live with my father. And the reason I was here in the first place was basically I was forced to. And I'm going to make another video explaining all about that, because it's a very intense story that needs its own very long video. I was essentially forced to move back in with my abusive father. Then, because of all the aspects to it, he was essentially being nice to me because he needed me at that point. He was essentially using my mother as a slave, as narcissists tend to do. And yes, my mother was also a narcissist in my opinion, and I have very good reason to think that, but she was getting her narcissistic supply in a different way, and it's a long story. Essentially, my father treated my mother like a slave, and after she died, he needed a new slave. And because I was here, I was going to be that slave. I understood what was happening, what his intention was, that I had to keep my mouth shut about my own intentions, that he had an agenda. I understood the whole thing. And so I just kept my mouth shut and made my plans, whatever was best for me. And at first I fully planned to leave as soon as possible. And then when I heard that he was leaving for a few weeks, I decided that it would probably be a good idea if I just stuck around for a bit and used that time to do some things for myself to get my stuff together, because I was in a really bad, disempowered position when I got here. I had nothing. While he was gone, I had a plan for what I was going to do to be able to afford to leave when he got back. And things didn't go the way that I expected them to, and I'm going to talk more about that in another video as well. When my father got back, I basically, since I wasn't able to leave at that point, and I had discovered that my book needed changes, I decided that I was going to concede my urge to leave right away and just to take the time to focus on getting some things done. About 2 months after he had gotten back, he decided that he was going on a second vacation to the same place and for another month, this time completely on his own. I know why he loves going overseas on his own, as an old white man who's happy to burn through cash, who has cheated on his wife for 40 straight years, and then also cheated on his mistresses with other women. I know why he went there. But if I say why, then there are people in my family who are going to watch this because they love to hate me or hate stalk me. They're going to aggressively defend my father, saying that I'm making things up because I don't have any reason to say what I said or think what I think. So instead, I will ask you guys to leave a comment of where you think my old white father went. Why did he go to Asia by himself? Basically, as soon as he got back, he started looking for money, meaning he started asking about a possible insurance policy that my mother may have had that he didn't know about. Just recently, he asked me if my mother had any cryptocurrency that I knew about. He started asking me about any hidden investments or savings that I might have, which, by the way, is why I can't tell him, or one of the reasons I can't tell him about my plans to make money, because a narcissist will take it from you. He doesn't ask me if I have money to make sure that I have money. He doesn't ask me because he's hoping that I'll be able to afford moving out and getting a place of my own and all that stuff and living my life. That's not why he asks me. He asks me in the context of him being short on cash and worrying about how he's going to pay his bills and thinking about all the things that he wants to buy. He does it in the context of looking for sources of money that he has access to. That, as well as a track record of my entire life of trying to sabotage me financially, including when I turned 18, he tried to force me to sign a contract where I would owe him 20% of everything I made for the rest of my life. That is what my father does to me when it comes to finances. My finances are meaningless unless there's something that he can use as a resource. The reason I'm talking about this, the reason I'm making videos about this, is because I have been silenced my whole life through shame and bullying and abuse. And anyone else going through this kind of abuse is dealing with the same thing. And because I have the ability to do it and the balls to do it, I'm trying to portray what it's really like to be psychologically, emotionally, and financially abused. The reason he lets me stay here for free is not because he's trying to help me get on my feet. He doesn't want me to get on my feet. He has an agenda for me to stay here for the rest of his life, to act as his slave. He wants me here because I constantly clean up after him, like he's a child. He wants me here because he can't be alone and he has no one else to be here with him. He's getting older. He can't get supplies easily. He wants me here because, in a way, it's punishment when he wants to dish out punishment to me specifically or to anybody, or just to act superior or whatever. He gets to make me clean a bigger mess. He gets to try to push my buttons to see if he can make me cry. He has